So we had a lot of people in our community that was demanding and requesting that we have an equivalent high school for the black students back in the day. So it was being fought by several groups of white ministers that found they felt like segregation was just fine. They didn't see anything wrong with the buildings uh, that the public schools was using. They didn't see anything wrong with the outdated books. They didn't see anything wrong with the school supplies, the need for that in there. And so they did try to deter the legacy of getting the black students in an equivalent high school. And so we had people that just kept pushing and kept pushing, and there was different lawsuits that was taking place, and they were relentless to get the goals that was required.
Yes, because at the time that the school was created, which was 100 years ago, there were no schools in the Dallas area. Back then we were called Negroes, but for Black Americans, so to speak, in today's terms. And so it was created for the purpose of having a school for African Americans to attend. Well, we, in a lot of cases, things have been slow when it comes to my culture, our culture. Things have been slow to move, and eventually they catch up to themselves, and it's usually because of some person, after many, many people have tried to work up to that, then some person, and it's usually of another color's persuasion, not ours, will see a need and get the right ear, and then things start to happen.
Sort of idea of what it felt like for you when you first walked into this building?
I think it was a very eye-opening experience, coming from a comprehensive school, our neighborhood school. I didn't know anything about the magnet program. And so to walk into a space where there are other people who enjoy the arts like you do was very eye-opening. I would also say that those kids were very talented, beyond my belief. Some of them performed at, an adult level, I would say, when it came to their art form. So I think that was very eye-opening for me.
Well, I have always loved walking into this building. When I was a student, I knew that I had a lot of history. My family had a lot of history with the school. And being a student here, the freedom to create art, I was in the dance, we called it clusters at that time. I was in the dance cluster at that time. And I had studied dance before I was a student here. So it was just a natural fit, and I just, I'm very thankful for my time that I've had here.
So what is it like for you coming back as a teacher now versus a student?
What is it like coming back as a teacher? It is humbling. It is humbling in many ways because now I see just what my teachers held back, the safety net that they created. The veil has been lifted, and I truly now am experiencing the full thrust of what it means to be in arts education and how you shield a student from the bureaucracy, but at the same time encourage them to know you too can fly, right? You too can do the thing that you are here for, but also understanding what standard is. Being here as a teacher now fortifies me in a way to teach standard to students. This generation is different than ours, not that I'm much older than them, but it's different. Technology is different. Exposure is different. And so I have to now, as a person who grew up at the beginning stages of the social media, now I'm understanding how the full scope of what that can do for a dancer, but also in the training, how do you implement the current into it? And so if anything, it compels me to be a better artist. I tell my students I'm an artist first. If I wasn't an artist, I wouldn't be able to teach you anything. And it's through my experiences and through the teaching that I've received that I'm able to cast sight on truth of what it means to walk into the real world post-training as professional dancers specifically. Mm-hmm.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind?
But here we had to build it from the ground up. And I remember kids not even wanting to leave. I mean, they missed the bus on purpose. They stayed here. They stayed for after-school services, after-school programs. If they auditioned for a show and they were not selected for that show, they hung around anyway because they got a chance to work on the stage, the sound, and various other areas of the arts that we provided. So nobody was left out. And if you got rejected or turned down for a particular part, you still had an opportunity to work in the theater, to do stagecraft, to do stage managing, to direct, to create sound, to create light. When you're talking to a teenager about those individual characteristics, hey man, sky's the limit. And the 4 years went fast. I graduated here at 17. And I was coming to Arts Magnet on a daily basis, going to the Dallas Minority Repertory Theater, performing with Irma P. Hall and the entire Dallas Minority Repertory Theater crew. Theater Center, Dallas Theater Center crew. I mean, just one show after the next. Get up in the morning, catch the bus, come to school. At 9:10, we were in makeup. We weren't in English class. We were in makeup, costuming. I get emotional about it. It was a safe haven. So I've always recommended everybody have their children try to get into this school, audition for this school. And try to follow it over all the years, man, and you guys are still hanging, and you teach here. So that's a good thing.
I tell you, I truly feel what you're saying about, when I think about where I come